Alright, here we go. Let's see if we can do 1 through 5 on the same page. So it wants to know the pH on number 1 before any base is added to the solution. So this is a strong acid. So we can use our strong acid formula. I'm just going to go ahead and put it right here. pH equals negative log of our H concentration, 0.1. So our pH before anything is added is going to be 1. So that's number 1. Number 2 is what's the pH halfway to the equivalence point? Well, if you want to do equivalence point, let's go ahead and do that right here. Do M1 V1 equals M2 V2. Now, this is kind of the way it's set up here in all the problems. You're going to get a volume here because you have a bottle with a solution in it. This is technically endless. You can add as much of this as you want. So we're never going to have a volume here. It's just going to be the molarity. So we're always going to be solving for V1. So let's go ahead and put that over here, M1 on this side. And let's go ahead and solve for V1. V1 equals M2, 0.1, times V2, 20, over M1, which is 0.12. If we do that, we get an M1 of 16.67 milliliters. That is our equivalence point. That is where we're going to get equal amounts of acid and equal amounts of base, moles. We want halfway to the equivalence point. So let's do divided by 2. So really halfway to the equivalence point is going to be 8.34 milliliters. Okay, so now that we know that, I kind of like to do this thing called a ale chart. We do initial, added, and then the total. So initial, we're always going to have initial here with our beaker of our fluid. We're going to do molarity, milliliters, millimoles. Okay? So initially we had 0.1, and then we had a 20. So we have 2 millimoles of acid. We added halfway to the equivalence point, so we're going to add 8.34 milliliters. 8.34 milliliters, and we're going to say the molarity is 0.12. And then we're going to get 1 millimole of base. So if we add those together, we're going to have 1 millimole of HCl left. All right. So if I want to know how strong this is now when we add 8.34 milliliters of base to this, what's my molarity now? So my molarity is usually moles over liters. So let's go ahead and see if we have that here. Total, I initially had 20 milliliters. I then added 8.34. So this beaker now contains 28.34 milliliters of fluid. And there's 1 millimole of acid in there. So if we go ahead and say our molarity equals moles over liters, or we can say millimoles over milliliters, same thing. So let's go ahead and put that. We'll go 1 millimole over 28.34 milliliters. And we should be getting 0.0352 molar. So we're going to go ahead and take that and we're going to go put it in our strong acid formula. pH equals negative log of our H concentration. This is our H concentration. So let's go ahead and put that right here. 0.0352. And we're going to get a pH now about 1.45. And that makes sense, because before we added any base, we had a pH of 1. Now we've got a pH of 1.45 after adding half the equivalence point.